Hello, 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 my beautiful empresses. Welcome back to Embody Your Empress, or if it's your first time joining us here today, welcome. You have a few episodes to go back and catch up on, and you're going to love being here with us. I'm Sarah King, the host of Embody Your Empress and the founder of Empress Nation, the place that I love to bring women to open up, expand their perspectives, and really feel into who they are on all levels of this life. Today, we are joined with a beautiful guest, Jennifer Radman. She is a mentor for the high achieving woman who's built successful lives, successful businesses, and yet can't stop second guessing themselves. And I know even if you don't have a business out there, that you're going to be gaining a lot from our conversation today because it's applicable to every single area. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to this chat today.
Oh, me too. Me too. I'm so excited to share your wisdom. But before we do that, I would love to know, Jen, who you are as a human, as a soul, and how you came to be on this mission.
So, how I came to, I'll answer that one because that really comes to me really easily. The reason why I wanted to do this work as a coach and a mentor came to me when I actually came back to work from maternity leave. So I had my first child, and I remember sitting at my desk. My little one is in daycare, and I started having those thoughts of, is this all there is? Can I be more? I really liked my job, but I felt there was this huge disconnect where, to me, I was sending my child off into daycare and I was away from her, and there was that, I feel like if I'm going to be away from her, there's something greater I can be doing. And then as a new mum and a woman, I started having those thoughts of, well, what else? What else is there? And also, are there other women out there feeling like this that, well, yeah, maybe this part-time job is all I've got. This is who I am now. And the more I looked into it, I thought, could I become a counselor? And I looked into coaching. And what I loved about coaching and reading up on what a coach does and how they work with people, it was very forward moving, but it also, as a coach, we acknowledge that our client has everything they need in themselves already, and it's about us bringing it to the surface and bringing it out and really showing these women what they can be and who they can be, and that their dreams and what they want to do are absolutely important, just as much as anyone else's dreams. So that's where that came from. Kind of, I can be more, other women thinking like this. I don't want them thinking like this as well, that I'm just a mum now. I'm just going to stick in my part-time job. Even when they kind of think, no, I know I can be more. I don't see myself being in this corporate role. Has it frozen?
Okay, we're back. Got to be um, the bit about not just a mum and then something more from there.
Okay, got it. Um, so it was really all about me acknowledging that I can be more than just a mum in a part-time role, but also acknowledging that there would be other women out there questioning themselves and also wanting to be a different kind of woman who's come out of maternity leave. And I have had some pivots from there and shifted who I do work with, but it's always been women who are wanting more in their lives.
I totally resonate with all of that.
Mm.
I had been just sailing through my life, I literally wrote this yesterday for an article, just above average in my job. And then I had a child and I was sending her to daycare at 6 months old to go and do this part time job. And I'm just like, what the F for? What am
Mm.
I doing this for? To make someone else money? Like, I'm getting minimum wage here. I'm not lit up on a purposeful soul mission. And my baby is growing up in the hands of other people. And it
Yeah.
really shook me, Jen. Like, it really hit hard. And I was quite, I'll be really honest, like, I was quite angry at myself and really hard on myself for not figuring this out earlier, not for not figuring this out before I had a child and setting myself up with something that was more meaningful. Because I just like having a child changes you, bringing life into the world,
Yeah.
it changes you, it opens
Yeah.
my eyes to going, yes, there is more out there.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
that's actually really sad to hear that you felt, you're already putting pressure on yourself that you didn't figure that out sooner, which is a whole other podcast recording for us when we touch on that, because there would have been all the guilt
Oh,
that you felt.
so much guilt.
But and it's so true, but I feel like sometimes we need to go into motherhood to have our eyes opened to, I love being a parent, I love being a mum. However, you know what? I'm ready for more. And it hit me at 6 months as well, because I was like, you know what? The first few months, you're finding your feet as a mother,
Mhm.
and then it starts to get a little easier. I'm not gonna say it was easy, but you find your feet, and then you go back to work and you're like, all right, I'm doing this.
Mhm.
I'm getting there. I know what I'm doing. Then you're like, well, I could be doing something better than this part-time job, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think that sometimes it does take that huge shift to then take a step back and be like, nah, I'm destined for more.
Mm. Because we're not just insert whatever
Oh,
else at the end of it.
oh, yeah,
We're not. And I feel really passionate about that. That is a term,
yes,
like I've done a podcast on that with someone going, you're not just a mom, because she
yeah.
felt that she was just a mom, yet she was running the family business at the
Mm,
same time
mm,
as raising the children
mm,
and not giving credit for it.
mm,
And now
yeah,
she's after our conversation, she's gone and she's like continuing her study. And I'm so excited for her to that change of perception. We're not just in putting
yes,
ourselves in boxes. There is so
yeah.
much out there.
And even just that, the word just has so many connotations, and how women use that to kind of decrease who we are and what we're doing. And the thing is, if you want to be a mother who stays at home and looks after their kids, absolute power to you. If that's what you choose to do and you want to do and you're thriving, you go and do that. But you are not just a mum. And so diminishing, you know, even as a woman, I used to say, oh, I'm just a receptionist, or I'm just in admin or whatever. And people would pull me up on it and say, no, you're not just that. And so it's really interesting the way, yeah, women, especially mothers, do use that word, and yeah.
Oh, so we got up to use that word.
Yeah. Um, so now I've got to remember where it was. You're probably going to need to do a lot of editing of this one. I apologize.
Right.
Um, yeah, so the word just is, something that really diminishes women, especially mothers, because, when we use that term just, it takes away all that we're doing every day and all that we can be. And, we're more than just a woman or just a mum. Um, Yeah, so it's a word that I really, really don't like, and I don't think people um, understand that the language we use is really important.
And when you start hearing it, you can't unhear it. And I pulled myself up on it the other day. I was
Mm.
sending a voice note to my mentor and I was like, blah, 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 just this. And I'm like, not just. I take it back. I take it back.
Yeah,
Because I'm
yeah,
like, it's something that has been so ingrained as growing up. Even now, talking about it, I asked to share a story that highlighted a success point for me this year. And the person who had asked me was like, stop being humble. Like,
yeah,
oh, and I'm like, oh yeah, I don't have to be humble. I can
yeah.
actually say
Mm,
it in its truth
mm.
without gloating or bragging or anything. I can just say it in its truth without restricting and holding back.
Yeah, or diminishing yourself or your accomplishments and things like that. And I feel like we're coming into an area where women really, other business women and other women in business, they want to see other women succeed and they want them to talk themselves up and show their achievements. And I love that there are platforms where other women are cheering each other on, because to me, to be a woman in business and a woman business owner is something completely different from working for someone else or a male in business. We come at it differently, we're treated differently. So, any place that can champion women in business, I am all for, because I think it is so important for other women to cheer other women on.
Oh, 100%. And if that's holding someone back from stepping forward into a business decision, into a business move, then go for it. Because once you find the women out there that are like, yes, I'm for it, I
Yeah.
will support you, I will celebrate with you, it is the most heartwarming, beautiful experience when you find that network of people that are holding you up. And you know, I find the women out there in my circle, they believe in my vision as much as I do. And
Yeah.
that is the momentum that
Yeah.
changes the world.
And I think it's so necessary because, there are days and weeks and where we want to give up and we want to pack it all in and go back to that part-time job.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think to borrow other women's confidence in you is really important. And it really, to know that other people and other women are struggling as well is really important, to not always put on a brave face and um, not always be the highlight reel, but to show the background and say, you know what, yep, last week I was ready to pack in my business and I was updating my resume. I was looking for a job, because it can be really difficult and it can be isolating at times being, a solo business owner. So to surround yourself with people who understand and are there and are supportive, they are worth their weight in gold.
They are, absolutely. And I guess that's where you come in as well. Like being a decision and clarity mentor is
Mm.
someone to turn to and have in your corner at all
Yeah,
times.
yeah. And I think the more I've got into coaching and helping these women, it is really showing their potential and showing all that they've got within them and their business, and really bringing that to the surface,
Mm.
because we are conditioned to value other people's opinions more than our own. We are conditioned to that we need to be doing this because someone else is doing this. We need to follow what everyone else is doing. And we forget that we're running a successful business, and sometimes things shift, and we lose direction, and we look outward instead of trusting the things that we've done previously and the success that we've got. So that's what I'm all about, is really bringing all of that to the surface and reminding these women that they've done it before, that right now their thoughts are I kind of joke that I'm a bit of a declutterer of women's minds, in that I kind of come in and clear all the clutter, the external expectations, the conditioning, the things that society is telling us, the self-doubt and the fear, all of those things. I could go on and list everything that us women have to deal with, and we let clutter our mind. Therefore, our decisions are clouded with this confidence that we feel we've lost and this self-doubt. So once I come in and help clear that by showing them the proof of what they've achieved previously, their decisions are going to be based on what they know of themselves and their intuition and what they know is right. So they're not going to go out and ask 10 different people their opinion. They're not going to listen to external things of what they should and shouldn't be doing. Their decisions are going to be so based on what they want and what they need and what they know.
Absolutely. Our intuition is our greatest guide. And I feel like sometimes we forget it can be used in our business. Like we look at
Yes.
it for our all our other areas of life. And yet when our business demands so much, so many decisions to be made, as you said. And if we actually take that time to start our business day by channeling our intuition through, I find I'm so much more prepared for what's coming. I've got a stronger sense in my direction. I feel the trust in the action steps that I'm taking. And I feel like I rely less on the external, like, oh,
Yeah.
what's the trends? What else is happening out there? Should I be doing what they're all doing? And if it's a, I don't really want to, then I don't
Mm.
do it because it's obviously not where my intuition is guiding me to.
Yeah. And if, there are some women out there that's like, no, I'm not based on intuition, or they don't think that this is speaking to them. I also like to think that it comes down to leading with our values and what's important to us. And I feel like that's when the self-doubt and the guilt starts to creep in, is when we're kind of being skewed away, or um, distracted by the expectations of others, what people are saying we should and shouldn't do. When we come back to our values and what we believe in when we started our business and why we started our business, when you start to understand that if you're working towards your values, then that is your intuition. That's your beliefs. The reason you started this business, the reason that you gravitate to certain customers or products, or, how you started your business and where you wanted it to go. Sometimes, we just get led astray a little bit.
Mhm. We do. We do. There's so much going on around us. It's easy to allow it to filter in. Absolutely. I love that you concentrate on forward moving because
Mm,
it's easy to be stagnant. Very easy, especially throughout periods of the year where the action around us seems to be slower. So in business, it can be really easy to be like, oh, well, I'll just take a step back. And for me, when I go, I'll take a step back, I find it really hard to get going again. Is that
yeah.
something that you find?
Yeah, and I feel like the women that I work with are in a bit of a freeze mode, where they've got so much going on in their business and their minds that they're overwhelmed. So they're spinning their wheels, I call it. And we just kind of stop, and it's like, I've got so many ideas. I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know where to start, so I won't start. And then, maybe the next week later, they'll be like, all right, time to get into it. I'm going to make this decision. I'm going to do it. And then they're like, maybe I just need to collect some more information just to make sure this decision is the right one. And then, it's that kind of, okay, well, I'll ask this person, I'll message my mentor, or, when 3 years ago, the decision would have been made. They know what they're doing and why they're doing it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, they know how to handle that. Whereas I think as time goes on, we do get bogged down in that overwhelm and everything else we've got going on. If we're mothers, we've got that mental load.
Mm-hmm.
And even if we're not mothers, we've still got external stuff that's clouding our judgment and our decision making.
How can we reduce that mental load to get back in decision making?
I learned very early on that I'm not the only person that is capable in my family of doing that.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. And doesn't that just prove our point of we've got stuff going
Oh
on?
my goodness, yes. It's school holiday time and Nana's on duty. So the little one wanders in.
Yep. And I feel like that was perfectly timed to prove our point that we've got a lot of stuff to deal with.
That's it. Because as we're having this conversation, I've got 100 things going on in the back of my head,
Yeah.
also happening, not even business as well. Like I literally just wrote down today, why do I try and do so much? Like why do I take it all on? And then I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
because there's baby steps, bite-sized pieces that
Yeah.
will get there. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, definitely, I go back to that the conditioning of women that we need to do it all because that shows that we're worthy.
Mm.
And so that's another kind of thing that I work with my clients is to really work on where that story came from, and let's create a new story that doesn't have your worth tied to your output and how much you can put out into the world.
Oh, absolutely. Or how much money you're making.
Mm, mm.
How much, like
Or,
I
or
find it.
or that our one woman's success looks different to another woman's success. Not every woman in business is after $10,000 months.
Mm, exactly. Again, knowing your values and
Mm,
having them as your driver is the key,
mm,
right?
yeah. And
Mm,
if your value is in earning $10,000 a month, again, power to you. That's your value. That's important to you. But we need to remember that as a business owner, if you're looking at that as a measure of success and that's not your value, then that's when your judgment and your decision making is going to get clouded because you're going to look externally. I need to be like that woman. I need to be like that woman instead of thinking, what's my value? What's most important for me in my business? How can I make decisions based on that person?
mm. Is there a decision making structure or process that you follow?
For each woman, it would be really understanding her values,
Mm-hmm.
to look at the decisions she's made previously that have worked, understanding decisions that didn't align with, again, her values. And I work in that. I want to this so her business, her family life, how she deals with things, to kind of paint that real holistic picture. So I know this woman, and how her brain does work. And so during a session, you can ask these questions about previous decisions. And so there's not so much a framework, but it's really getting to this woman's story or this version of herself that she sees or she perceives herself to be. And generally, it's very, very different of how she perceives herself in her business as to how I perceive herself, because, these women are coming to me full of self-doubt and thinking that they need to work harder, they need a better strategy, where it's not, it's taking all of that away and learning to trust themselves again, and to
Um,
trust that even if the decision that they make doesn't turn out to be the right one, that they have the power in themselves and they have the capabilities to take that onto the other side and know what to do.
how dangerous is self-doubt?
That's a great question. How dangerous is self-doubt? I I think it is really dangerous. Now that you've worded it like that, I've never thought of it like that. But, you can think of any situation where you've stopped yourself or you've doubted yourself, what that actually does to everything moving forward. Because if you're making choices, decisions, looking at situations with that doubt, all of those opportunities are almost going to fade around you. And if you're leading your life with self-doubt, other people are going to doubt you as well. When you lead with full capability of you and your skills and your expertise and what you put out in the world, it it's almost, what's the word? Other people see that. Other people are going to see that. So yeah, great question again. Self-doubt is dangerous, isn't it?
Dangerous, right? Because it could be the difference of you moving forward in business or you putting it down and walking away, and all
Yes.
that ripple effect of you going out and changing the world and whatever way you were going to doesn't occurs
Yeah.
differently.
And now that you've put that in my head, now I'm getting fired up in that, how sad, and that's where I get really frustrated, and it hurts my heart when women are stifled from this self-doubt. And where this self-doubt comes from is generally nothing to do with them at all. And so that is when I get really angry, because I want nothing in the world more than to see women succeed. And when their fear of putting themselves out there or putting their dream, their goal, their business out into the world, I get really, you take it personally, kind of, because
Good. Yes, we need more
you
women doing
exactly,
things, anything,
exactly
do
right.
the things.
Anything to do with women championing themselves, I'm like, yeah, that is the hill that I will die on. Women need to trust themselves more, and their skills and knowledge and everything they want to put out into the world matters, and they are worthy of all of the success. It is just the constant clutter. It's the clutter and the junk that we fill our brains with,
Mm.
that no one wants to buy what we're selling.
Mhm.
Someone else out there is doing it better. Someone else out there is doing it differently or making more money, and it all of that doesn't matter. Once you get rid of that and you take one step forward and nothing bad happens, take another step. But also empowering these women to acknowledge that when things don't go right, they can still get back up and try again.
Mm.
But if we let that dangerous self-doubt get in the way, we're never going to be able to see what's on the other side.
It's so important. Like
Mm.
the subconscious programming from being a child, growing up in the eras that we did,
Yeah,
it's in there. That's why I believe the inner work is just as important as the outer work when you are particularly motherhood and business,
absolutely.
because one without the other, you are going to fall down. I've heard so many
Absolutely.
women say, I have nothing to say. And that's
Mm.
what gets me fired up. I'm like, you have something to say. You have
Mm.
something to say. Someone in the world of billions of
Mm.
people needs
Yeah,
to hear what you have to say. And that's why I love
absolutely.
this podcast, because I get to
Yeah.
talk to so many amazing people who have these messages, who we can
Mm.
share them with everyone, and
Yeah.
someone is going to pick it up and run with it.
Yeah. And I think there's always something within someone's story that someone else is going to take something from, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's a sentence or a thought or an opinion. Even if you disagree with what we're saying, that's
Yeah,
that's still taking something. And I think, yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
it's really important that women are able to freely share their thoughts and their struggles, and because it helps other women understand that they're we're all in the thick of it at times.
yeah, yeah. Womanhood is a challenge.
Mm.
It
Mm.
is a challenge, and we are so courageous when we take it on and
Mm.
step forward and say yes to the opportunities that light us up, and we start saying no to the things
Yeah,
that don't, and we stop that people pleasing aspect of it, but the things
yeah,
that actually call us, that we might have been like, oh, I don't think so, it's maybe not my time, I don't think I can do it, I'm not worthy of it, oh, I don't know if it'd be any good. When we stop listening to that rubbish and we
mm,
actually go, hey, that's actually really cool in me, I'm going to give it a
yeah,
shot,
yeah,
we light up, we
yeah,
absolutely shine. And even if
mm,
we don't do it great, even if we fail, we know, we learn, we know how to do things
yeah,
differently next time. We know if it's something we want to continue trying.
yeah.
There's so
And
many lessons.
that's the thing. If we let self-doubt win, we'll never know. And we're so filled with the what ifs. What if I fumble? What if I fall? What if I put out this new product and it bombs? And if we're going to spend, and I was having this conversation with my coach, and we kind of said, if we're going to put that much energy on the what ifs and the negative kind of stuff, then we absolutely need to put the same amount of energy to the what if I flourish? What if it's
Yeah.
amazing?
Yes.
You can't, if you're doing it for that side, you got to do it for that side as well.
Yeah. What if I'm freaking incredible?
Yeah.
What if I smash it out of the park?
What if, you say, "Well, what if, what's the worst that can happen? What's the best that can happen?"
What is the best? What is the best? I wrote down yesterday, I'll share this with you, Jen. Reasons this could be the best day of my life. There we go. Reasons this could be the best day in business.
Yeah.
Reasons this could be the best business
Yeah.
opportunity.
And you wake up in the morning with that thought, and it's that whole, where we put our energy, what's that? I always forget. Energy flows where energy goes, or is it vice versa? But
Uh, Energy
you know,
flows where your intention goes.
yeah.
Yeah.
You wake up in the morning with that thought, you're gonna follow that thought.
Mm.
You're gonna search for reasons that it's an amazing day, it's the best day. If you wake up thinking, well, let's list how many things are going to go wrong today, you're going to look for that list.
Yeah. That's what our brains are wired to do, right?
Yeah,
Program it with a question, they go and fact find.
our bloody brains, like, aren't they're so fascinating. I'd love to work against us.
It's like life isn't challenging enough. Let's give the
I know.
operator the hardest thing to do. I get it. I get it. All right. Why, Jen, why does someone need a coach? What are your thoughts on that?
I feel like women, especially, but and because I'm a woman's coach, I'm going to talk for a woman's perspective. Feel like because women are so in their heads, we are just wired to overthink and overcomplicate things. Having a coach is that, and I will quote a client, and I've posted her testimonial, and in the feedback she said she needed a second brain. And I think that perfectly sums up exactly what a coach does. You know, we sit with women when they're in the thick of it, they don't know what they're doing. They they're just stagnant, as you use that example. And so we come in, we're not telling them, well, you should do this, you should follow this, well, this is my strategy. We're not giving advice. We're sitting with these women and guiding them to what they know is the truth within themselves. Because we know the next step that we need to make, but it's like that flight or fright mode or freeze, where that leap just seems so far away from the businesswoman we were a few years ago. And so I come in and I kind of just sit, and it's about holding space for these women as well, because a lot of the times they've been holding it so tightly within themselves. They they just need to release it to clear the clutter. I know I use clutter a lot, but I feel like it's such a good analogy of, I kind of use the example, if you can imagine walking into your office and there's just crap everywhere, like books, papers, old notes. It's you can't think. You walk into a cluttered room and you get so stressed and anxious. Can you imagine trying to make a decision when your head is like that?
No. That's
So
not gonna work.
yeah. So it's helping women clear that. And the clutter is those stories of I'm not good enough, or the guilt they feel, the self-doubt. All of that stuff is the clutter in their mind.
Yes. And if you look like traditionally, women are not supposed to be isolated on their own, making all the decisions on her own. She
Mm,
knows, she's
mm,
wise, she knows. However,
mm,
we talk in circles, we're held. Someone is there when we are releasing our emotions that are cluttering up,
mm,
or getting rid of the overthinking thoughts, because you're right, we do overthink. It
mm.
was never alone. We were never just one person doing it. We were
Yeah.
doing it together. So that totally makes sense to me. And because this was on my mind today, I'm like, musician, like vocal artists, have vocal coaches, like the best of the best, have coaches for everything, right? Sports people have coaches, um, entertainers have coaches, actors. Um, and yet sometimes I feel as businesswomen, there may be a little resistance going, I need to go get a coach because it's like a failure, air quotes, failure point, or I'm not doing as well. I can do it all on my own, trying to take on those limiting beliefs. Where if you have a coach, you have that person, that second brain. I love that,
I
to
know, right?
put everything by, and to turn that mirror on, like turn the mirror on. You
Yeah.
already know what to do. What is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
when I work with someone, I work so much more efficiently. Um, and not that it's about production, but the trust in myself when I'm working with someone. And it's all coming back to me.
Mm,
And yet I'm just like,
mm.
bam, 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 an hour session with someone. And I am so much better than when I'm trying to struggle through on my own.
Yeah.
Mm.
And yeah, you've summed it up perfectly, but especially that because we don't offer advice and we don't, you're not following a plan of, okay, we'll just do these 10 steps. It's I want to know about you, and I'll tell me these stories you that you can't do it, and we're gonna shift that. And that's just, has it frozen?
If we can just go, I want to know.
Um, I want to know everything about you, and I want to know all those thoughts in your head so I can question them and we can shift them into, well, how about this? Or what, have you thought about that? And that's what a coach does. They ask questions that kind of like tear through someone's belief about the stories that they're telling themselves that they can't move forward. It's helping women see things that they can't see by themselves because their judgment is so clouded with junk, as I like to call it.
Yeah. Helping women see things. I love that. Beautiful, Jen. I have three Empress questions for you. I've loved our conversation. I love getting fired up about women in power, women taking action, women standing up for
Yeah.
themselves, women being more in the world, more seen, more heard, more felt, because this is what we need. This is what our society needs, hands down. I challenge anyone to question me on that.
As I said, I don't think I got fired up enough because ask anyone around me, they know how important this is to me and how passionate. And sometimes it can come across as a bit cliche and tacky about women lifting others up, but it is so important. We've got enough crap to deal with
Mhm.
in our lives. So to have other women's back and to be supportive, it is, you know, it's necessary, really. It's not just
It's
um
vital,
it's
absolutely vital.
absolutely it's
Yeah,
absolutely necessary.
yeah, non-negotiable anymore. Be there for your sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, back to the questions. How do you embody your empress?
I feel it's probably getting fired up like that and really showing what I believe in and standing up for other women and saying you don't have to take this from society. And so I think, yeah, championing other women and bringing other women together is how I do that.
Ah, love it. And I can feel it. I can feel it through the screen. Yes. And what does your empress energy feel like for you?
Oh, definitely fire in my belly. A real we've this needs to be done and we need to do it now and we need to do it together and we yeah, raging feminist over here. It's so important.
It does need to be done now. There's no more
Yeah.
putting it off.
Yeah.
Okay. And what are your parting words of wisdom for inspiring your nation?
I think we all need to trust ourselves more and remembering that self-doubt is dangerous. And I love that. I might even write a post on that because
Go
that
for it.
question was, I think, and it's really sitting with the stories that we tell ourselves and the stories that hold ourselves back,
Yeah.
and to come at that fear and self-doubt. And you don't need to ignore it. Sit in the uncomfortable stories and question them. One of my favorite words is curiosity and getting curious. And I guess that's probably why I am a coach and why I'm a good coach, in that getting curious about what these women are telling me, but also what they're not telling me. So it's always under the surface. So
We're
yeah,
so good at not telling people stuff. We're so good at hiding it, masking it. I don't want to go there, so I'm just going to give you an altered version of
yeah,
what's going on.
yeah.
Let's be
I
honest,
can,
let's tell the truth.
it's it's always about the thing that's not said, and I can always see that it's not being said, or oh, but you said something in earlier in the session, and then they'll kind of surrender. Um, but yeah, it's absolutely getting curious with those thoughts that you have. Um, it's almost like get friendly with the discomfort you feel, because it's going to tell you another story.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Get used to pushing that comfort zone too. Absolutely. Jen, thank you so much for your beautiful wisdom that you've shared here on Embody Your Empress. I know that anyone listening is going to feel that passion, is going to pick it up and going to run with it. And I love it. Be curious.
Yeah.
You started saying, is you used to think, is that all there is? Well, let's be curious. If you're thinking
Mm.
out there thinking, is that all there is? Be curious. What else is there? Show me,
Yeah.
show me how good it can be.
What's the best that could happen?
What is the best that could happen?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Jen. We've loved having you on Embody Your Empress.
I loved chatting with you, and I think, yeah, it's probably a chat that we could continue, and let's do it again so I can get even more fired up.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love seeing people in their passion.
Yeah.
So good. So good. So many takeaways from this episode. Thank you.
Oh, I'm glad. Cool. Thank you so much. I've really loved it.